Thank you so much for having me here today. The story of Springfield is one that is eagerly consumed by other parts of the country because it's really a story of growth in spite of trends or growth in spite of what's happening around the country and around the world. It's interesting when we look at Springfield because when we do these types of presentations, it very much could be seen as a tale of two economies. There's a national and state economy, and then there's a Springfield economy. And that's a really interesting insight when we look at a local area, is how linked to those national and state trends is a local area. And the short answer is not very linked. Springfield's at a fundamental level is being driven by and has historically been driven by the establishment phase of a highly economically engaged, higher aspirational, younger population that has seen it rise to 50,000 in the project area, 175,000 in the direct catchment, 500,000 in the wider catchment, and that is expected to continue to grow into the medium term with populations approaching 100,000 in the project area and 500,000 with areas like Ripley Valley and Flagstone and Yarrabilba in a very close proximity to the area here. Springfield is a story of worker access and of economically active people. And you can see that through both the incomes in the region being higher, and that isn't a wealth translation as much as it is an economic participation translation. There are more people working. Springfield is not just a place to do business in, but to do business from. And that's increasingly what we're seeing when it comes to labour force access. 40% of the population has a post-school tertiary level university or bachelor level qualification compared to 35% across the state. So it is a hub of skilled people. So as much as the population in the area has been growing 6% year on year for as long as we can go back and get data for, the business community in Springfield is growing at double that, more than double that. And where we see sectors such as health, education, transport, construction, retail trade, the big ones, professional services and healthcare. Springfield has an abundance of pillars. And so if one of those pillars weakens because of factors outside of your control, a shock or something like that, there are so many other pillars to be leaning upon. And the fact that we can point to this now as saying that unlike the rest of the economy, which has been growing slower than the population growth rate, the economy here has been growing double that of the population growth rate, and the population growth rate itself is 3 times more than the national average. That's a very unique set of economic drivers and environment to be in. This is a story of a centre servicing a 500,000 population or more in the surrounding community. That's why we're seeing businesses who are coming in to Springfield, not just to trade into Springfield, but to use it as a network approach, a hub and spoke approach, to set up a hub here in Springfield, but then also to service into surrounding areas, into Ripley, out to Greenbank, into southern parts of Brisbane. Why? Because all roads lead to Springfield. What that means in terms of Springfield is that the role of Springfield and the drivers of Springfield are changing. The population-led focus of Springfield to date has well and truly moved into a secondary position relative to the growth of the business community and the growth of industry and investment. So going forward, with more constraints and more volatility, but also more opportunity, the impetus then becomes to the business community is, how do you continue to do that? How do you continue to maintain a culture that is focused on making the opportunities of Springfield, the potential of Springfield, real now and into the future? Thank you very much.